feel me? All that. Man, it's a lot of artists that done came up, but I feel like I'm the sole inspiration for my come up.
Back in July 2021, rapper Blueface ventured into the influencer boxing world, stepping into the ring against TikTok personality Kane Trujillo. Kane tried to mock Blueface, even bringing out toothbrushes to taunt him, but Blueface took it all in stride. That doesn't mean he let it slide, though. At the pre-fight face-off, Blueface delivered a sharp response, dishing out some verbal heat and even snatching Kane's shades. When Kane's bodyguard stepped in, it wasn't clear if he managed to recover them. On fight night, Blueface easily dominated Kane, but the drama didn't stop there. Mid-celebration, a rowdy fan jumped into the ring, running his mouth. Blueface handled it with a swift three-piece combo, making it clear he wasn't about to be disrespected. And just when it seemed things couldn't get wilder, another incident cropped up at the gym while Blueface was training for his next bout. Some guy thought it'd be smart to confront him. Although Blueface's trainer tried to calm the situation, Blueface wasn't in the mood to back down. The chaos really hit when that fan pulled out something sharp. In no time, the cops were on the scene, and Blueface found himself headed to the hospital. One thing was clear. Blueface wasn't just talking a big game, he lived it, inside and outside the booth. And speaking of seasoned pros schooling these new generation rappers, we have to talk about how a true legend stepped in to teach the Island Boys a lesson in what hip-hop really means. Lately, the rap scene has been buzzing with newcomers hoping to blow up overnight. The Island Boys, two Florida kids with wild hairstyles and poolside rhymes, tried to claim a spot at the top. But not everyone was buying it. In fact, a few heavyweight names decided to call them out. First in line were none other than Snoop Dogg and Kevin Hart. During their year-end special, Snoop watched the Island Boys' viral video and dismissed them as straight-up clowns. But that wasn't the end of the backlash. The Island Boys made the mistake of thinking they could flex on Blueface, a rapper who's more than earned his stripes in the streets. One of the twins started running his mouth about Blueface's girl, Krishan Rock, and things quickly turned heated. Blueface wasn't about to let some TikTok rappers drag his name, and his girl's name, through the mud. He stepped in and shut that nonsense down in no time, leaving no doubt that he's not just playing a role. He's a real G with real street ties, and he made sure everyone understood that disrespect wouldn't fly. This showdown between old-school rap culture, the new generation, and TikTok fame highlights how much the rap game continues to evolve. Still, it's a powerful reminder that respect and authenticity remain at the heart of hip-hop. Speaking of rappers checking folks, let's shift gears and look at what went down when Boosie had to handle a YouTuber prankster who crossed the line in a major way. White Dolomite, known for his boundary-pushing stunts, took things way too far when he tried to prank Boosie Badass. Dolomite spotted Boosie at a store and decided to pull off some offensive, racist nonsense, thinking it was all just a joke. But Boosie was not amused. The Louisiana rapper looked genuinely stunned, and his crew wasn't about to let that slide. Lil Boom stepped in fast and caught Dolomite with the hands, but instead of taking the loss and moving on, the YouTuber known as Joker decided to turn the tables. He actually called the cops, thinking he could have Boosie and his crew thrown in jail. Unfortunately for Dolomite, that move blew up in his face, and it all backfired even faster than he'd planned. You'd think after getting checked like that, Dolomite might learn his lesson, right? Nope. Instead, Dolomite tried to pull the same stunt on T.I., but Tip wasn't having it. He didn't just brush it off, he gave Dolomite a serious reality check, making it clear that racist nonsense isn't cool and never will be. And the warnings didn't stop there. Even Trade of Truth got involved, laying it down straight and telling Dolomite that pulling pranks like these could get him killed. It's not a game out in these streets, and Dolomite might want to rethink his entire approach. Playing with fire like that isn't just reckless, it's dangerous. Maybe it's time for Dolomite to find a new hobby, because this prankster life clearly isn't for him. And let's not forget, Boosie isn't the only rapper who had to put a TikToker in their place. Bella Poarch caused her own stir when she boldly claimed that her music is better than any Cardi B album. That's a pretty big statement, especially considering Cardi B has been running the rap game for years. Cardi didn't let it slide either, she clapped back hard. Cardi posted a screenshot of Bella's past messages showing that she used to be a fan, flipping the script and showing everyone that even Bella herself once recognized Cardi's dominance. The drama just keeps piling up. This whole saga took a turn when Bella claimed her account was hacked. According to her, she was out cold, fast asleep, when that tweet went live. And sure, the "I was hacked" excuse might sound played out, but in this case, it could actually be true. Cardi B, being the level-headed person she is, didn't just snap back immediately. Instead, she took a step back to hear Bella's side of the story. What came next? Bella's manager ended up getting fired over the incident. Even with all the drama, Cardi made it clear she wasn't holding any grudges. She made sure people knew she wasn't beefing with Bella. That's real grown woman energy, keeping it mature, showing that not every controversy has to end in a battle. For fans, this whole situation serves as a reminder not to jump to conclusions too quickly. Sometimes the truth takes a minute to surface, and rushing to pick sides can backfire. That said, not everyone's convinced. Some folks still think Bella's just making excuses because Cardi put her in her place. Speaking of artists having to set people straight, NLE Choppa has been schooling a few YouTubers lately, making sure they understand that respect isn't optional. Choppa's not one to let things slide, and he's been making that crystal clear. Case in point, Neon. Choppa didn't just casually pop into Neon's stream. He showed up to send a message loud and clear. Apparently, Choppa was fuming because he'd lost some cash thanks to Neon's antics. This wasn't just some online spat. Choppa took it to the real world, rolling up to Neon's studio with a big black strap, making it clear he wasn't there for small talk. Luckily for Neon, things didn't spiral out of control, but it was a close call. This should have been a major wake-up call for Neon. Messing with a rapper who truly lives the street life is a dangerous game, but the lessons didn't stop there. Next on Choppa's list was Kai Cenat, another streamer who thought he could say whatever came to mind without worrying about the fallout. At first, everything seemed cool. Everyone was vibing and getting along. But then Kai had to get slick with his words, pushing boundaries he shouldn't have. Choppa wasn't about to let that slide. He shut it down immediately, sending a clear message. There are certain lines you don't cross. Some people like Kai seem to learn these lessons the hard way. And let's not overlook that other guy who tried to act tough with Choppa. This dude strolled in like it was no big deal, mouthing off about how he'd smack Choppa on camera. If there's one thing you should know about Choppa, it's that he doesn't tolerate that kind of disrespect. He confronted the guy head-on, ready to throw hands. It didn't take long for the wannabe tough guy to backpedal, claiming it was all a joke once the reality of the situation hit. And just like Choppa, when this next rapper confronted Queen's Flip, the energy shifted fast. China Mac and Queen's Flip clashed during the Flip Da Script podcast, and things got heated in no time. It all started over the N-word, a single word that can ignite serious tension within the hip-hop community. The drama kicked off when Queen's Flip mentioned that he had once called out DMX for using the N-word. But then, word on the street spread that Queen's Flip had been talking tough, claiming he'd put hands on China Mac. You know that kind of talk doesn't sit well, especially when it involves someone like China Mac. Queen's Flip tried to backtrack, likely hoping to smooth things over, but China wasn't having any of it. He called out Queen's Flip directly, making it crystal clear that there was no scenario in which Flip could actually step to him like that. The root of the issue was bigger than just one word. Queen's Flip's main point was that the N-word shouldn't be used by anyone outside the black community, and China Mac acknowledged that. But the real friction came down to respect and how these sensitive subjects are handled. It's not just about the words, it's about the way people treat each other in these conversations. As we turn to another chapter of hip-hop's ongoing drama, let's talk about how Didi Osama had to set Neon straight after crossing a serious line. This streamer thought he could get away with taunting everyone from behind his screen, but Mr. Neon quickly found out that some lines should never be crossed, especially when it involves the streets. Neon had been doing a dance called the Naughty Bop, thinking it was just another online trend, but he failed to realize, or maybe didn't care, that the dance was actually created by rival groups to mock the tragic death of a 14-year-old rapper. Word spreads fast, and it didn't take long for Didi Osama, the slain rapper's brother, to hear about Neon's antics. Instead of flying off the handle right away, Didi first tried to approach Neon with respect, asking him to stop. But Neon, feeling safe and invincible behind his screen, kept at it. He didn't back down, convinced that his online persona could shield him from the consequences. However, Didi Osama wasn't going to let some streamer disrespect his brother's memory just for views. When the situation came to a head, Neon realized he was way out of his depth. The internet tough guy act fell apart, and Neon quickly understood this wasn't a game. After narrowly avoiding a serious confrontation, he reached out to Didi to make amends. But Didi didn't let him off the hook that easily. He made sure Neon grasped the gravity of his actions, even having him apologize to the entire family. Meanwhile, in another corner of the rap world, a different artist lost his cool over someone mocking his fashion choices. Soulja Boy wasn't about to let DJ Academics and his crew get away with disrespect. During an interview that quickly turned tense, Academics started poking fun at Big Soulja's fit, even calling out that $1 million Gucci headband. But if there's one thing everyone should know by now, it's that Soulja doesn't let things like that slide. He came back at Academics with the same fiery energy, setting the record straight and making it clear who he was talking to. Soulja wasn't content to just let it go. He made sure those comments didn't just disappear into thin air. That disrespect hit a nerve, and Soulja went off, keeping it completely real. He spelled out his entire journey, from nothing to the top, and how he's still out here grinding every day. This wasn't just about a headband. It was about the hustle, the struggle, and the fight to stay on top. Soulja Boy's put in the work, and he's not about to let anyone make light of that. Meanwhile, another rapper took a more direct approach when a YouTuber decided to step out of line. FBG Buddha and FYBJ Main were kicking back for an interview, and at first everything seemed cool. But things were about to heat up real fast. At first, J-Main kept things professional, asking all the right questions, but then he started steering into controversial territory, bringing up snitching and King Lil J. That's when Buddha began to feel uncomfortable. J-Main, thinking he could have a little fun, pulled out a mousetrap as a joke to tease Buddha. But Buddha wasn't having it. He tried to keep it cool, telling J-Main to chill and warning him not to push too far. However, J-Main didn't pick up on the signals. Instead of easing off, he kept pressing, bringing Lil J into the conversation again. For context, King Lil J and Buddha have a tense history, with serious beef between them. In Chicago's music scene, allegations have flown, and the streets have labeled Buddha as a snitch who turned on Lil J. J-Main took it even further by putting a big block of cheese on the table, which in their world was a not-so-subtle way of calling Buddha a rat. At that moment, Buddha reached his limit. He pulled out a weapon, making it clear to J-Main that this wasn't just banter anymore. The situation escalated fast, and things could have gone very wrong if not for the fact that Buddha and J-Main had a long-standing relationship. Any other interviewer might have been in serious danger. Even so, when the clip surfaced, Buddha faced heavy criticism from all corners, fans, peers, and the streets alike. Fans were quick to call it an overreaction, saying it wasn't that serious. But what a lot of people don't realize is that in the streets, being called a snitch is no joke. It's a label that can follow you for life, and Buddha wasn't going to let it slide. Unfortunately, the situation got even more complicated when the police caught wind of the viral clip. Since Buddha was on papers and could have caught a case for having that gun, he had to backtrack and claim it was all just a skit, hoping to avoid any legal trouble. But Buddha's situation isn't unique. Plenty of rappers have had to stand their ground when confronted with disrespect. One example is G Maybe Bands, who found himself in a heated exchange with Vlad during an interview on Vlad TV. At first, everything seemed chill, just a typical Quanda session. Then Vlad made the mistake of comparing Bands to Slim Jesus. That comparison didn't sit well at all. Bands immediately shut it down, making it clear he wasn't having any of that. But Vlad, always on the hunt for views, kept poking at the issue. Within moments, the interview went from calm to full-blown chaos. Bands pulled out a weapon right there on camera, showing that he wasn't just talking about street life, he was living it. This wasn't just about words, it was about sending a message that he wasn't someone to be played with. And the cycle continues. The next story shows yet another rapper who had to step in and teach some YouTubers a lesson after they tried to pull a prank that crossed the line. YouTube prankster Datboik, known for ambushing people at the mall with his diamond testing stunts, decided to try his luck with Kwon-do. He approached Kwon-do with his usual routine, asking to test the rapper's chains. Datboik probably thought it would be another easy target for his prank videos, but things didn't go as planned. Kwon-do wasn't having it. In the rap game, jewelry isn't just a flashy accessory. It's a symbol of status, credibility, and hard-earned success. Being accused of wearing fake chains could tarnish someone's entire image, and Kwon-do wasn't about to let that happen. He took the situation seriously and headed straight to a trusted jewelry store to get his chains and grills inspected by experts. The results? 100% authentic. Kwon-do's ice was the real deal, just like he'd been saying all along. But he didn't stop there. Kwon-do made it clear that he wasn't someone to mess with, especially not for a few online clicks. He let Datboik and his crew know that they couldn't just run up on anyone and try to pull these pranks without consequences. Kwon-do's response was all about protecting his name, his image, and his reputation. And just like Kwon-do, another rapper duo recently had to step up and check someone who crossed the line. The Island Boys, always causing a stir, found themselves in a new drama when Neon, still causing trouble, tried to play games with the wrong people. Neon thought he was going to score some clout by inviting the Island Boys onto his stream, but instead of keeping things chill, he started throwing jabs and poking at them right away. It didn't take long for one of the twins to step up and put Neon in check. The situation could have calmed down there, but Neon just didn't know when to stop. Even after efforts to de-escalate, Neon threw out another slick comment, and that's when things really started to spiral out of control. Before you knew it, more people were getting involved, and tensions were rising fast. The Island Boys and their security weren't in a joking mood, and word spread that they might have pulled out their Dracos. That was the turning point. Neon and his crew quickly realized this wasn't just internet drama. They were in real danger, and they took off running. Thankfully, no one got hurt, but the entire mess served as a stark reminder that there's a fine line between entertainment and outright disrespect. Neon seemed to treat that line like a jump rope, constantly pushing boundaries until the situation exploded. But the lessons didn't end there. Another YouTuber, Jack Doherty, apparently didn't get the memo. He showed up at the Island Boys' house, thinking he could act a fool and get away with it. During the interview, Jack started making all sorts of inappropriate comments. At first, the boys tried to stay calm, but Jack just kept pushing the envelope with his jokes, making it clear he hadn't learned from Neon's near disaster. That's when Cody had enough. He wasn't going to let Jack walk into his house and run his mouth. So he took a firm stand and pulled out the Draco, sending a clear message that this wasn't a joke. But Cody wasn't the only one standing his ground. In another wild moment, a rapper who's been through it all, Mino, had to remind a younger YouTuber of some old-school principles. Mino, a seasoned vet from the days when disrespect wasn't just brushed off, found himself sitting down for an interview with a YouTuber who clearly didn't understand the rules of engagement. At first, everything was smooth. Mino kept it professional and respectful, even giving the young interviewer a chance to show some maturity. But instead of staying on track, the YouTuber started throwing shade, cracking jokes that crossed the line. Mino didn't snap right away. He actually tried to warn the kid. He told him to chill, to lose the attitude, but the kid didn't listen. He kept running his mouth, seemingly unaware of who he was dealing with. See, Mino is cut from a different cloth. In his world, words carry weight, and running your mouth without backing it up simply isn't an option. When it became clear the YouTuber wasn't going to take the hint, Mino decided enough was enough. He didn't just talk about respect, he demanded it. The young interviewer learned the hard way what happens when you step to a real one with anything less than respect.